Hello, and welcome to the Diabetes Podcast. I'm Richie.
And I'm Amber.
And Amber, can you tell us a little bit about who the Diabetes Podcast is for?
Yes, the Diabetes Podcast is for people with prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, latent autoimmune diabetes in adulthood, and people who have type 1 diabetes.
All right, so if I have type 1 diabetes, why should I listen to this podcast?
People who have type 1 diabetes in general have a pretty good handle on their blood sugar. That's not always true, but for the most part, out of necessity, they've made sure to understand what's going on with their bodies and understand what's going on with their blood sugar. But there's usually something they didn't know, something they can still learn. And in being in the diabetes space for 20 years and working with so many people who do have autoimmune diabetes, which is type 1, that 5% often gets grouped into the other 95%. And I think it's important for them to have a safe space and a voice. And if they can come here and feel heard, I think that's fantastic.
Okay, great. If I have type 2 diabetes, why should I listen to this podcast?
Yes, type 2 has a lot of deficiencies going on with this disease process. And a lot of those people don't understand there's actually 12 different mechanisms in the body that are dysfunctioning with type 2. And it tends to affect people as they age as well. And so it's a place to come to learn, to understand what's going on in your body, and really understand how to do something about it and take action.
Okay. And if I have prediabetes?
Oh, yeah. This is where I believe we will be able to help people the most. Not that we can't help people with type 2, type 1, latent autoimmune diabetes of adulthood, but if there is a space where if you do something different today, it can affect the rest of your life, this is it. It does not have to be so that you end up with type 2 diabetes. And so the best way to affect it is within the first 5 years of really having any idea about anything. So it's coming in, teaching people, helping them have a safe space as well, and move out of prediabetes. Because in the medical world, with prediabetes, it's like saying a little bit pregnant. There is no such thing. Prediabetes will become type 2 diabetes in most instances unless people take rapid action. So this is to help them understand what that looks like a little better.
Okay, great. Tell me, why are you excited to be launching this podcast right now?
Now is a great time, always. Sometimes it's easy to feel that it's too late. And I know a lot of people who have type 2 diabetes might feel that it's too late, and it's never too late. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast now, to encourage people that I talk to that now is always a good time.
Excellent. All right, so this would be a good time to like and subscribe to this podcast because, and I think Amber alluded to it a little bit earlier, we have an exciting series coming up. It's a 12-part series, which we title Anything Meds Can Do, You Can Do Better, where we really speak to kind of those 12 categories of drugs for diabetes.
Yeah, and more specifically type 2 in this particular case. Yes, because type 1, again, is autoimmune. Type 2 is more of a metabolic disease syndrome. So we're speaking more to the metabolic aspect with these 12 core deficiencies. Although I think in some ways people with type 1 could benefit and learn from this, because usually people with type 1 have family members who have type 2, and it can really help them understand the differences for their family members and help them kind of find a common ground with where they're alike and where they're different, and just help them educate those who have type 2 better.
But we're going to get really into the weeds on these 12 categories
in a good way
of medication
Yeah.
But really, yeah, again, furthering the understanding what these drugs are doing, what the mechanism that these drugs are replacing, and what the behaviors that you can do, things that you can do right now to start getting better at exercising those mechanisms, making them stronger to work better, to enable you to not have to take those drugs in the first place.
Ideally, yes.
That's really
always
really
the
what
goal.
we're always about.
Anytime I talk to someone who has type 2 or prediabetes, their goal is to either not get on any meds ever or to get off of the medications that they're on. And people who have prediabetes and type 2 have a luxury that people who have type 1 don't have. Somebody with type 1 diabetes is always going to be insulin dependent, at least as far as the research supports now. I mean, everyone with type 1 is hoping one day there will be a cure. But that's been 20 plus years. You've heard that since 1920 with Banting and Best and the development of insulin. Diabetes type 1 was a death sentence, and now it isn't. And every single year with technology advancing, the outlook and the life expectancy of somebody with type 1 gets older and older, and there's no shortened lifespan really these days with someone who was newly diagnosed with type 1 now. So it's really exciting for people who have type 1. And for people with type 2, it's really to help them get off of medications that they don't necessarily need to be on when they optimize what their body can do naturally.
Okay, great. So stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming up.
Yes.
If you have any specific questions, please leave those in the comments below, and we will try and address as many of those questions as we can. Again, this is your opportunity to have a subject matter expert in diabetes really kind of answer your questions, and hopefully your high-level questions. Guys, let's get a better understanding of how to really combat this disease. And we will talk to you soon.
Awesome.